How back, you saw? My name is Nasat Khaf, student teacher of the master teacher. And today's reading, well, the first one is called Now, Then, Now, Egyptian Real Time, and the Breath of Life. You breathe 18 times each minute. That is 1,080 times each hour, and 25,920 times each day of 24 hours. You see your 6 and 9 repeated. The lunar or moon is 1,080 miles in radius. The sun, solar in size, is 216,000 miles in diameter. The sun, Ray, 2,160, is a multiple of 1,080 in 108 years. Moon goes through 2 triple periods. Each period places the moon in exactly the same location in the sky and exactly the same lunar node, full, new, and quarter, as it was at the start of the 54-year triple period. 2 of these periods would equate to 6 total periods, lasting 18 years, each, and would complete a 6-pointed stellar star if drowned out in cyclical representation. This is the geometry of honeycombs of the bees, quartz, crystals, and carbon rings. Carbon's atomic number is 6, so 6 times 18 equals 108. 18 times 6 equals 108, and 12 times 9 equals 108. 9 times 12 equals 108. In ancient pre-dynastic Tamare, called by others Magan by Sumerians, Mitzrayim by Hebrews, Egyptos by Christians, Mist by Muslims, Egypt by others, and even Kemet, and Kami by others, which is in part of Africa. Ifriqiya had a complex and intelligent system of time for each year, and for the passing of each great year, 25,920, likened to an equinox of 24,000 years, whereby the starry sky of Dendera, full of astrological ages and cycles, are completely reset, or we renew our story every 24,000 years. Each year was divided into an average of 12 months. For Zehuti, who is also called Serpent, Hermes, Ningizida, and Indubsar by the Sumerians, Nakash by the Hebrews, Thought by the Christians, Al-Kanas and Iblis by the Muslims, and Wise Secret Keeper, the Whisper by others who are from Sopdet, Sothis, and Sirius, 3-sun star system called the Dog Star. He was lunar, moon, Netru, called the Hutu. His symbol is the ibis and baboon, with solar, Ray, Ra, and Roy, and moon crescent over his head as a simian deity, Tahuti, over the renewal of our story every 24,000 years to 26,000 years for the visible lunar passage, as well as the visible solar maximum and minimum, each consisting of 30 tidal days, and each day was then divided into 12 parts with 30 subdivisions in each part. African culture, like the Dogons of Mali, who came from the Napata tribe of Egypt, use a daily timing system almost exactly like this. Dogon calendars have been noted to use the same 360-point system of 12 signs in each day, each one named for the designated astrological symbol as the Dendera of Hathor, Hathor's temple, at Edfu in Tamare constellation. At first, the subdivisions were by the decimal system, 100 subunits, and smaller moments of day were equated to the standards of 14.4 minutes. Sikh, 144,000. Min Nu, Min Nefera, Memphis. Later, a conversion was made to the unit and of a few different standards. There once existed a division of 108 units per day. It is now set to 96 units per day. This occurred right after the Greek Romans set up their Gregorian Reformation for conversion to a quarter of the Roman Catholic or Western so-called hours. Har, also called Tammuz by Sumerians, Yahshua by Hebrews, Isis by Christians, Isa by Muslims and Jews, and by others, Horus. The second point after the first moment, the father, Asar, also called Usir, Asaru, Osiris, the hour of 60 minutes, a minute of 60 seconds, a second of 60 moments, must have been taken from Tamre and changed and claimed world over to become other cultures' religions, never given what is due to the original Tahites, keepers of time for all. 6 times 60 equals 360, as is with the numbers 12 and 24. So, 3, 6, 12, 24 are multiples of time. The Tamarians' calendar system related to Sabdet, Sothis, the dog star, Sirius, the star system of both Isis, also called Medi and Ishtar by Sumerians, and Meriam by Hebrews, Meriam by Christians, Meriam by Muslims, Mary by others, and Demeter by Roman, and many other names by others, as well as the great Netru Tuti. It was a 3-sun system, and it rose alongside Pa-Re, the sun, every 360 days for nearly 1 millennium, 1,000 years. The 360-day calendar ruled supreme as time bent with each vortex, opening and closing each 10 years. Time changed, the solar to the lunar time system, like the lunisolar calendar of 365 days, which is now being used to mark Ta, Earth, elliptical orbit around the sun. The original of the cubits, at approximately 18 inches, now 20 by 18 again, is 360, and 3 times 6 equals 18, still following the Egyptian system. The 18 inches is directly related to the 18-year unit, phase, so the very inch is from the Egyptian, as well as the foot, which is the harmonic secret, Har-Mantu, of the cubic 1:5:1 ratio. Way after the Hebrews made a calendar, every hour was divided into 1,080 halakim, or part. Each halak is exactly 3.3333 seconds, or 1/18th minute, the same as the average human breath in activity. It came from a Babylonian time period called a barley, corn, which equates to 1/72nd of a Babylonian time degree, 1 degree of celestial rotation, both from the Egyptians, and is interestingly as the entire fabrication of the written and spoken Hebrew tongue, being they learnt from Unken Atun, and is rooted in the celestial supreme math of Egypt. The Hebrews call Gematria, the ultimate name of deity that makes up the mathematical numbers, because the word is God, or either 72-fold, 144-fold, or 216-fold. 6 cubed in math and geometry is a 216-side form. Every 73 years, the brightest star in the sky, Wu-Sabat, Sirius, would recycle its position in the night sky because it has a 5-day offset retrograde motion with the rest of the yearly calendar system. It cycles every 360 days instead of 365, as the Egyptians observed after 365 years, just like 365 days in a year. Sirius would accurately mesh timing in synchronization over the course of a few months. All of this relates to your breath and the planet Earth, which has its own heartbeat. It is a very low electromagnetic frequency that pulses throughout the atmosphere, the oceans, and the other waters. There are multiples of it, like octaves of music that fall off in intensity from the main pulsation, beaten at 7.83 Hz or cycles per second. This frequency was in our distant past relative to 7.2 Hz. like the number 72 and 144, 72 times 2. Because this moon has been drifting from Earth for millions of years now, and as the moon drifts, it increased the wobble of Earth around its barycenter or orbital axis line. Each is not on a perfectly straight path. As this wobbles increases, and as the moon's influence over the Earth's tide is steadily amplified, the days of the year lengthen, the frequencies of pulsation increases, with added ionospheric lightning activities also. There are gravitational or tidal effects upon the weather. Volcanic activities increase. Migration periods change. Electrochemical sensory organs in various plants and animals are aroused or confused, and the magnetic poles are nearing a geometric shift in light of how most celestial occurrences. With Rayay, moon, planet, Venus, and Sirius in mind, and all has to do with the same number, 360 and 72, being divisible and cosmically, mechanically, with the precession of 26,000 years, and the equinox, 24,000 years. It all comes back to the right timing, the right time and way to breathe, and the tone you breathe with. Now, the frequency, 7.83 hertz, becomes 26 beats per second, like the current lunar tides, full and new per year, and 7.2 hertz, perhaps the frequency of Earth's ancient heartbeat, calculates out to 24 beats per moment, 12 lunations instead of the current 13. It's perfect. The heartbeat is created by the geomagnetic dynamo action from the connection between Earth and the moon to begin with. Use the correct timing system, apply some supersymmetry dynamics, and the pulsation lines up with your body and nerve system. Now, each day of your life is biologically based on particular frequencies of breath that match the years in an astrological great year of 25,920 years. Regarding bioelectric connectivity between Earth's geomagnetic pulse and your own brainwave, the frequencies 7.2 to 7.83 hertz are related to a relaxed and intelligent state of awareness in the brain of the original people today. We are one with the biosphere as Nubans. We must regain the lost collective study, graduated intuition. We must integrate it into better science of mental and physical therapy, climate changes, predictions, biological feedback, and weather insight, ecosystem, biofrequency, balancing, music, construction, technology, and risk assessment, because everything has a molecular frequency spiritually. But only Netru gave a soul and oversoul to their offspring, the Tahites, or Negroids. Once they get back in tune with self and kind, back to Wu-Sabat, their way of life, the music inside of each will become one tone, to open the heaves. That time is now, then, now, then. That concludes the first reading. The second reading is called Pa-Ranan. 1. O people who have become blinded by the white light of these religions, yet still consider yourself Africans, calling yourself Israelites, Christians, Muslims, Moors, 5%ers, Hebrews, Nazarites, and so many other names, and use the names of their religious deities, gods, lords, in their own tribal dialects or tongues. 2. When we have given you the oldest true and most excellent attribute, title, name, some of which your leaders change and misuse or mistranslate, some they turn into wretched and wicked titles by your actions. Thus you are doing your own souls a disservice. 3. You have learnt to call Atun as Atin or Aton, or even Adon. 4. They then change Atunre to Adonai, as they change Hu to Hua, and Hu-He to Yahweh, and Nab to Rab. Why did you do such evil? 5. Changing our language to your dialects, when it has now become clear to all that Tamare you call Egypt from the Greek Egyptos, taken from Hut-Kapatah, the mansion of Tah's spirit. Why do you deceive in such things? 6. Even the name of our rulers, place, temples, tombs, you misuse our scripts, mistranslate our words to hide the true meanings and us from our own seed. 7. We existed long before you as a race, as a culture, and as a religion. 8. We were the very first to record, or write, to draw, to build, long before you. 9. Your book, the Torah, is only 3,000 years old. The Gospels are only 1,110 years old. The Quran is only 1,500 years old. Give or take a year while we have records that are over 10,000 years old. Honey, that's not correct, right? Your Torah is 3,000 years old. The Gospel is 1,110, and the Quran 1,500. The Quran sounds alright. Huh? Alright, and the Torah. And then the Torah 3,000. I thought that was 6,000. Okay. Alright. The Gospel. Yeah. That. Alright. I'm gonna just do it again. That's not. Yeah, but if you're trying to add up like now, yeah. Let me change that one too. Start from the top. This reading is called Pa-Ranan. O people who have become blinded by the white light of these religions, yet still consider yourself Africans, calling yourself Israelites, Christians, Muslims, Moors, 5%ers, Hebrews, Nazarites, and so many other names, and use the names of their religions, deities, gods, laws, in their own tribal dialects or tongues. 2. When we have given you the oldest true and most excellent attribute, title, name, some of which your leaders change and misuse or mistranslate, some they turn into wretched and wicked titles by your actions. Thus you are doing your own soul a disservice. 3. You have learnt to call Atun as Atin or Atone, or even Adon. 4. Then they change Atunre to Adonai, as they change Hu to Hua, and Hu-He to Yahweh, and Nab to Rab. Why did you do such evils? 5. Changing our language to your dialects, when it has now become clear to all that Tamare you call Egypt, from the Greek Egyptos, taken from Hut-Kapatah, the mansion of Tah's spirit. Why do you deceive in such things? 6. Even the names of our rulers, places, temples, tombs, you misuse our script, mistranslate our words to hide the true meanings and us from our own seed. 7. We existed long before you as a race, as a culture, and as a religion. 8. We were the very first to record or write, to draw, to build, long before you. 9. Your book, the Torah, is only 3,000 years old. The Gospels are only 1,710 years old. The Quran is only 1,400 years old, give or take a year, while we have records that are over 10,000 years old. 10. It has been confirmed that Egypt, or Kemet, or Ptah Maya Rayay predates all of you in all things. 11. You call on the one and only true God, yet your own holy books say otherwise, using we, us, and plurals to describe our works of creation, such as Elohim, or Theos, or Elihat. Don't you know that in time our seed will uncover your deception and distortion? 12. You even try to hide how the names are to be said. You know to call on a being or a person, you must know their name. Even animals respond to the sound or tones of their name, even if they don't speak your tongue. 13. You claim in your holy books that there was one language on this whole planet, and that was before Hebrew, Greek, Latin, Chaldean, Akkadian, Chinese, Hindi, Arabic, or any Semitic or Euro language, which are only dialects of that one, the first language, which could only have been spoken between your God and the first people created on this planet, which to date has been found in Africa. 14. So, it was a heavenly language taught to Africans first. That's the facts. And the oldest culture on earth is found on the Nile, up and down it. 15. You do not demonstrate what you uncover and know to be true. Why do you lie and alter words and dates and places? Who do you think you are fooling? None but those who are willing to give you their very soul. 16. While you come to our homeland and rob and rape and kill our peaceful family without mercy, that is not right. 17. You travel to land after land, stealing, killing, and claiming all that is others. 18. You lie and change the past to fit yourself. 19. You have no past. The Mongoloids have the Great Walls of China. The Dravidians have the Taj Mahal. The Africans have the Great Pyramids, and so much more. 20. Yet the Caucasoids have nothing to show for themselves but bloodshed, weapons, wars, invasions, death, disease, up to this very day. 21. Now let's look at the deception in our Egyptian script. We Egyptians only use consonants, not vowels. 22. So you copy that, but did not know how or why. 23. We did it to protect those of our ancestors who are in peace, and to protect our living rulers from spells and omens and evil eyes which you are known to use on others, invoking evil in your nature. Revelation 18:23. For by your sorcery were all nations deceived. Cursed be you forever. 24. You took Hu-He, reversed it to Ihu, then to Yahweh, but you don't have the sacred tone kept by old Pa Nabu. 25. Now let's see the trick you use in words to deceive. 26. You pronounce as Elohim, but the first letter you say is an E sound for the letter Aleph. Yet when you read Adam, you use the same first letter as an A sound. Now the Arabic does the same. Adam has an Aleph as the first letter. You get an A sound. But Ibrahim has the same first letter, Aleph, but you use an E sound. And remember, originally Hebrew or Arabic did not use vowels. 27. So, which humans decided to confuse their followers? Look at Jesus. It is pronounced Isa or Isa. The first letter is Ain. But Ali, the name using the same first letter only, now is pronounced as a hard A sound. In Hebrew, you have Adam and Edom. Both words have the same first letter, but one is A and the other is E, and all other letters the same. 28. This is why they did not pronounce the name of their God, but Yahweh, Yahuwah, Jehovah. They fear misuse and bring down wrath. And the same thing happened throughout their holy books, mispronounced names. 29. They really don't understand a word of their scriptures or how to translate what they really say and said. 30. So they deceive many into calling on the wrong being as they say God for God, which is guard. 31. Now, when Caucasoids under many tribes, nations, countries, names came into Egypt, they found much recorded on papyrus or stones, or bowels or walls, no vowels. So they did not know how to pronounce our names or places. Min Nefer became Memphis, as Atum Ray became Adonai. Ray became Roy or Ra. Amun became Amen or Amun, as Zehuti became Thought. Hatshepsut became Hatshepsut, and Satuk became Set or Seth. Mus became Moshe, Moses, Musa. Letters were replaced so they could pronounce them. Pataharka became Taharka. Taharka. 33. So you see, when they left Egypt and learned how to write what was first only a spoken language, 34, they realized that the Egyptians all had more than one name and even shortened their names, like for Sehuti, to Tut or Tut. Some letters that weren't Egyptians for sound, like J or D, was not in Greek or Latin, but could be found in Hebrew, Aramaic, or as D, and was taken to Hebrew as Zain, and hard A sound became Ayin. 35. That also moved on into Syriac or Arabic, D as T, and hard A as Ayin, and D as D. Also, they both took the K sound in Hebrew, and it became, and in Arabic it became Khaf, as in Kemet, the word for Egyptian. 36. Arabic, Kalaka, created, and other sounds as well as symbols, some names. 37. They altered, like from Kanum or Yakanum to Yakanum or John, or from Ma'at Ka to Matthew, from Zehuti Hararay to Zechariah, Min to Menes, Gor Menu, Nether to nature. By the time it got out of Hebrew and Arabic into Greek, Latin, German, French, and Italian, then real English spoken in Europe to slang English spoken in America, the names, words took on whole different sounds and lost their true meaning and tones. 38. The Rosetta Stone claimed to be found by the Frenchmen and taken by the British when they defeated Napoleon, 1769 to 1861 AD. 39. They claimed it opened the door to Egypt's secret language because this black stone had 3 different scripts on it. 40. 1 Greek and 2 forms of Egyptian: demonic, hieroglyphic, Greek. 41. So most of the work on it was done by a Frenchman, Jean-Francois Champollion, 1790 to 1832 AD, and an Englishman, Thomas Young, 1773 to 1829 AD. 42. They only got what we wanted them to get. 43. There were many dialects of Egyptians, and they did not get the sacred Nuwapic tongue of Pa-Nabu and Pa-Wabu, taught to them by Pa-Netu. What fools these mortals are to think it's that easy. So in fact, they still can't read original Egyptian secrets, and they are still there looking, spending trillions to find the secret of Mafkuzet. 44. So none of the tongues they formed came from the original language of ancient Egypt. 45. Remember, they teach in their Bibles and Quran that at one time the whole planet Earth was of one language, one tongue, and later divided up into many sub-tongues called dialects, which comes down to this day. 46. Well, if the facts prove, and they do, that the first people on this planet were in Africa, on the Nile, then the god or gods, by whatever new name they give them, or him or her, in their newly created dialect, were speaking to these first people, Tahites, in Africa. 47. Also, it's been found that the earliest writing in the world found at Abtu, or Abydos, in Egypt, and even in Akhet Atum, or Amarna. 48. They found stone tablets in cuneiform script, as those found in Sumeria, or Babylon, as Akkadian, Ugaric, Chaldean, and Ashuric. 49. The roots of the Semitic dialect. 50. So, the very first spoken words from the gods, Elohim, Alihats, Anunnaki, who were in fact Pa-Netru, was Nuwapic, later became Nuwapic, and they drew pictures before the wedge script onto now. They got it from Pa-Tamare, the Egyptians. 51. For mischievous as their nature shows. Now when you see names, they over time alter letters, consonants, created their own vowels, sounds, and even grammatical systems. 52. But sneak in their grammar system words like sun letters in respect of the sun god Ray, or moon letters in respect of the moon. Pray on Sunday out of true fear of the wrath of Pa-Netert Sakumtet, which they changed to Sakmet, whose name means power. 53. So names as Har Amun for Yeshua, Isa, Jesus, who they call in their Bible the Amen, as it states in Revelation 3:14, as recorded in Greek, Amen. Online, Bible Greek Strong's number 281. But originally, they spoke Hebrew, not Greek, as students of Yahshua. So let's see, online Bible Hebrew Strong's number 540. Amen. Of Chaldean, which birthed Hebrew. We said the Amen with the in the front of it. In Hebrew, the is ha. So say ha, amen. The Amen, or ha, amen. When they lost how it was said. 54. And make note, the faithful comes after the Amen, or ha, amen, or har, amen, pa, amen. And that the faithful is online Bible Greek Strong's number 4103. Another Greek word, pistos, meaning trustful, believe, faithful, trustworthy. So the title for Jesus there is Ha Amun, the Amen, or Amun, from the Egyptian Har Amun. There are also different scripts in Egypt of the heretic and demonic, as well as hieroglyphics. There's only one true Nuwapic. 55. Most invaders from outside would not even recognize the Napata or Nuapu, or Nabu Nupu. 56. In their lives, over time, they confused Babel themselves. 57. They lost their way and lost the real meaning of each name, place, or thing. 58. From Amun to Amen. If I call you by another name, your true name, will you answer my prayer? No. 59. The same as when you pray now, you call out, cry, lament, but your life does not change. 60. No one hears you, but the Khaf of those on the other side, good and evil, beings take on the form of what you want, marry, to look like, or angels, or family members. 61. These beings take on any form you want to see in order to use your body to feel physical again. 62. They pretend to be Jesus speaking to you. You think you are saved. 63. They perform healings, miracles, tricks of deception to win your faith. For in faith and belief, you seek no proof or facts or truth, only blind faith. In doing so, you offer up your very soul. That's religious. 64. They make statues, cry tears or blood. 65. Whatever it takes to win your soul. 66. Tell men they are chosen prophets to mislead others in that way. 67. They get many souls from one ego. 68. But in Egypt, you can see the facts on the walls, pictures of yourself, long before they came in and took it and changed it into their isms of spookism. 69. Look at the name Zahuti, to Tahuti, to thought, to shorten to Tut, onto Hermes, to the Greeks, and Mercury, to the Latin Romans. 70. They lost who and what he really is to humans. 71. And we won't tell them, we will tell our own. His children need to know. 72. So you see, Tut Unk Atun, and it's really Zahuti Unk Atun. And you see Hatshepsut, and it's really Hatshepsutuk. You see Thutmose, and it's really Zahutimus. You see Ramesses, and it's really Remus. You see Set or Seth, and it's really Satuk. You see Isis, and it's really Set. You see Horus, and it's really Har, as one person, and Haru, as all those who follow and kept his name holy. You see Osiris or Osir or Asar, and it's really Asar, as one person, and Asaru, as all those who follow and kept his name holy. You see Orion, and it's really Sahat or Sah, or a constellation of many stars or suns. It become Sahatat. 73. Then they took some names, like the name Kemet became Kemet, Kam, Ham, and Mary or Mary became Miriam, Mary-Ann. The name Ahmus became Ahmed to Ahmed. 74. So, there was much in a name, and I gave you many names, as we travel from school or degrees to degrees to break the spell of ignorance, as you replace blind faith. 75. What is your true attribute, or name, or title? 76. What you are called, such as baby, child, kid, teenager, adult, person, human, woman, female, girl, wife, mother, lady. 77. All these were names, titles, attributes. 78. Some describe you, others don't. 79. You can, however, be any of them, even more than one at the same time, depending on what you are doing at the time. 80. So call on me by any name, but only those I wish will know who I am. 81. If you want me to give you your true name in tones, come close to me, touch me, that I may see who and what you are, at that moment, without ending, without beginning. And that concludes the reading.